I don't think I need to say this, but if you ever meet me in real life, don't lick me.
There you go.
Just like as a general statement to those listening.
Unless it's DJ Mary.
That's the exception, yes. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to this week's episode of To Kill A Delibird, where this week, if you come out of here and you ever think to yourself, man, Sudowoodo should be a grass type, don't be an idiot. Don't think that, because it's stupid. In the year of our Lord, I mean Jeff, 2024, you should know Sudowoodo should and is a rock type and should not be a grass type. That's the entire fucking point of its design. Anyway, this is To Kill A Delibird, where we watch Pokemon, we talk about it, and then I play a lot of Pokemon, I complain about things, mainly the narrator having poor grammar, and then I have alongside me, it's Graham, who doesn't know Pokemon, but knows other things, I guess. Graham, how you doing?
Good, and I've somehow become the naive, optimistic sidekick, even though I'm an old, angry man.
Old.
Who shakes his
Very old.
fists at clouds. I'm an elderly gamer.
Mid-30s, so old. Oh my goodness.
Doomed. Kellan, I know that the Sudowoodo debate is something very close to your heart, and I famously just don't care that much about, pedantic, semantic conversations. However, since I do know that you're passionate about this topic, would you like me to just pretend this episode?
Sure, why not?
Okay, you motherfuckers out there with your grass type accusations. Haven't you heard the name Sudowoodo? What do you think pseudo means? What do you think Greek roots are about, bitch? Okay? You're around there pointing out that he's got things that look like branches. There's clearly a rock, supposed to be a rock type, pretending to be a tree. What else is the theme of the Pokemon? Come on, use your fucking brains, people.
I thought by pretending to care, I thought you were going to go the way of being stupid and saying, like, but Sudowoodo is a tree, he should be a grass type.
No, I meant, like, I'll have your corner, I'll have your back.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we're like,
well, that's different.
We're the main characters from Contra, and this is a co-op game.
Sure, all right. That works for me.
So what's new, Kellan? Anything? Any new games, movies, that sort of stuff?
Big Brother's back, baby!
Oh, God.
Yeah!
That's not what I meant. I meant nerd stuff.
You don't think that's nerdy?
I don't know. It's like a mainstream nerdy, right?
Mainstream? I don't know.
It used to be mainstream. Maybe it's now niche, but it used to be.
Yeah, it was like Survivor, where like the people coming... Well, Survivor was even more so, but the people coming off the show in the first seasons were like A-listers for a while.
For a brief moment, yeah.
Yeah, especially Survivor. Like, they were everywhere.
It was a popular show.
Sue Hawk from Survivor 1 replaced Regis or his co-host on Live one time and interviewed, I think, George Bush.
Wow. That's
just because like they were so famous for coming off of the
Sue
first season
Hawk
of Survivor.
Is a cool name. What a name. Wow. Okay, is there anything non-reality TV related you're into? Anything from the nerdoverse?
Not really. I've just been trying to like crank out as much like TikTok content and stuff
just
as
working,
I can.
just on that grind.
Just on
Sigma
that
grind set.
That grind set. Yeah. It's been rough though.
Tough gig.
That and balloons. Yeah.
Hell yeah, balloons. I've got a few nerd
and
things I could go over. I don't know if I want to blow them all at once though. So which should I start with?
You know, nerds would love to all be blown at once.
Okay. So I have a spectrum of things. Okay, one is something that you'll be interested in and discuss. The second one is something that you'll be kind of neutral about. And the third one you won't care about. So which one should I pick? It's a spectrum. Which one do you want to use today?
Are we going to do this weekly?
Oh, yeah, I like to roll out nerd ideas, right? We can't talk about everything all at once.
Well, considering I don't want to have to wait for it, let's do the one that I would actually like.
Okay, great. I started playing Super Mario Wonder recently.
Ooh.
Finally got around to grabbing that game.
Yeah.
Got a small sale on Amazon and thought, well, small as all these sales are in Nintendo world.
Yep.
So you played this game and liked it, right? I think.
Yeah, it's very good. I got it for Christmas last year, December 25th, and I 100% completed it on, I think, like December 29th.
That's pretty impressive, Gil.
I blitzed through it. It was very good. It's very fun.
Yeah, so I'm in about World 3 right now. I'm definitely taking my time with it, just kind of enjoying it. We both like Mario games, and I am liking it. Like it's
It's a breath of fresh air for the 2D platformers.
It's hard not to like. For the Mario ones, definitely. And I feel like a lot of other franchises have really amped it up.
Yeah.
And New Super Mario Brothers has been kind of doing the same thing for a while.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, I haven't played the DS one, admittedly, but like all of the new Super Mario Bros. Games, like they're all good. They're all good platformers, but they all blend together.
They're good, but I don't know if a single one is great.
None of them really stand out in the way that Wonder does, or like I don't know. I mean, I didn't grow up in this time, but like 3 or World did.
Oh, I mean, those are like juggernauts. But even playing them later, those games must be really good, right?
Oh, they are. Yeah. They're very fresh. The first one's rough because those physics are not great. But
3 and World are definitely the juggernauts.
Yeah.
And I know some people are like, Wonder's like the best 2D ever. It's just like, it's so hard to compete with nostalgia. So we'll see on that if I actually think that. It is pretty good. The other thing is that like the world of 2D platformers has gotten like there are some really strong contenders it's against, right? So like I don't know yet if I like it better than Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze, for example.
Yeah.
Or even like Shovel Knight I got really into. But for like it's this brand new Mario game. It's wild. It's really fun. I'm excited to see what more tricks they have up their sleeves. I like the elephant power up. It's really fun. The Wonder Seed mechanic though. Okay, so for those of you who haven't played it yet, I'm still wrapping my head around what it means as a mechanic. Because basically
it means like that they'll do whatever the fuck they want to do.
That's exactly what it means. So there's like a plant in every episode. In every level, you get it, and then the episode just goes bonkers. The episode, why do I keep saying that? The level goes bonkers. So they'll have some mechanic like, hey, this level has bouncing hippos everywhere. And then you hit the thing and suddenly it's like a trip of hippos and they're all bouncing around and there's crazy music. It's cool in the way where it's like, okay, let's like limit test this mechanic for this level and then move on.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's so, I don't know if this is the phrase I want to use, but it's almost like Zoomer edited. It's almost like this like super small chunk of like making my brain explode. And I almost just want more. Like, I don't want to just leave that mechanic right away. I want more out of the mechanic. That's my only like, I don't think this is even a criticism. This is just something I'm currently thinking through. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. It's great. Great game. Go play it, everybody.
Yeah, fun stuff. I'm only playing as Mario. Is there a point to trying other characters? Is it different?
Nah, it's just aesthetic.
It's just aesthetic? Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Except for, like, Yoshi, which is, like, easy mode.
Oh, yeah. And Nabbers or whatever,
and
right?
Nabbit. Yeah.
Nabbit. So, this is Sudowoodo week, right? And we all know the thing with Sudowoodo is that he looks like a tree. But he's not. He's a rock.
Crazy.
Spoilers. So, I wanted to inspect the world around us and think about things that had that Sudowoodo energy, right? So, things that seem one way, but when you learn more about them, are different, are not all that they seem under the surface. All right? You get what I'm saying?
Yes.
So this is the top 10 real world things that aren't as they seem.
Okay. Hit it.
Number 10. Did you know, Kellan, that all chairs are actually tables and all tables are actually chairs? We're just using them wrong.
That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, just sit on your table and eat off your chair. That's actually what true existence is all about.
I disagree. But okay.
Well, you're lying to yourself, and I am here to show you what the world truly is.
Okay, sure. What's number 9?
I'm going to keep blowing your mind, Kellan. Number 9. Olive Garden isn't a garden. It's a mediocre chain restaurant. Did you know that?
No.
Did you know that?
I had no idea. That's crazy.
It's not even a garden.
They don't even grow the olives.
Oh, my God.
How many olives are in that restaurant
Where are these unlimited breadsticks coming from anyways? Number 8. Cats aren't the pets. We are the pets.
Yeah, I believe that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They take us into their homes. They treat us well. What benevolent overlords we have.
Exactly. Number 7.
Number 7. One Piece, like the anime and manga, It's not even a long franchise. People just think it is because of how Luffy's arms stretch. It's called the theory of manga length relativity.
Doesn't it have like 4,000 episodes or something?
No, like 1,000. It's like Pokemon length.
Oh, it's only 1,000.
It's just casual Pokemon length.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah. Number 6. Arby's doesn't actually have the meats. They have this weird gray synthetic roast beef that is probably a rock type.
Okay, but the curly fries, though.
Oh, I know, right? Arby's is so weird because, like, those curly fries go hard, but, like, do I want to have to eat anything else there? I'm not sure.
Number
5. Number 5. Did you know, Kellan, that tall people are actually the short ones relative to the sun? Short people are actually taller than tall people relative to the sun.
Trying to wrap my head around this one.
Tall people are actually shorter than short people if you're the sun. Things are not as they seem. Number 4. Pokemon mums are actually the true heroes of Pokemon games. Did you know that?
You would think that.
Did you know that? We don't care about the kids. It's all about those hot mums. What are they up to?
Should probably tell the animators then, because they aren't really talking about the moms.
I know, I want a whole season, like Pokemon moms. Pokemon Journeys to Moms.
Real Housewives of the Pokemon world.
Real Housewives of Kanto. That'd be funny. Yeah.
Number 3.
Number 3. A cold hot dog isn't cold, nor is it a dog. They aren't even meat products. What a cold hot dog is leftovers from a dimension of pure pleasure that collapsed and left brief ripples in time that were then distilled, packaged, and distributed by Oscar Mayer. Did you know that, Kellan?
I didn't know Oscar Mayer had interdimensional wormholes.
Oscar Mayer is an alien. The same aliens that built the pyramids. This is what hot dogs and pyramids have in common and what the government doesn't want you to know.
Are you telling me that the Wienermobile is like the DeLorean and you can travel in time?
Yes, the interdimensional DeLorean is the Wienermobile. That'd be pretty good.
Oh, man. Number 2.
Sonic the Hedgehog isn't a bad franchise. IGN just thinks it is.
But it's also kind of bad.
Shut up.
It's got some good games.
Speaking of things that people have mixed opinions on, number 1. This podcast isn't even a podcast. It's a dream one of our listeners has been having.
Which one of you is it?
Which one of you
Which
is
one?
It? Don't wake up. Please don't do this to us.
It's like Link's Awakening, the moral quandary.
Who's the windfish?
They don't feel real, or they feel real, but they aren't actually real. The island's not real. Oh no.
The podcast isn't real. The platforms are, though. You can find us on YouTube, Spotify, wherever fine podcasts are downloaded.
Yeah, the episodes just kind of show up. We don't actually record this.
Ether.
They just like show up on the platforms, yeah.
Someone's brain.
Yeah.
Well, that's top 10 things that aren't as they seem. I think that blew your mind, Kellan.
A little bit.
Yeah.
All right, let's get into what we're doing today. Today's episode 164, Typecasting, or in Japanese, Where is Usoki? And episode 165, Fossil Fools, or in Japanese, Ancient Pokemon Park, Ruins of Elf. So let's jump into typecasting, shall we?
Yeah, how'd you feel about this one, Kellan?
This is a fun episode.
It's a fun episode. I'm excited to talk about Sudowoodo with you as soon as we meet him, because I feel like I have things to learn about this fun creature. But you know, Sudowoodo was entertaining.
So we're on the way to Eckerteak now. We got the third badge we left Goldenrod. Going to Eckerteak. And how do we get past this river? There must be a bridge around here. There actually isn't this time, for once.
It was the ultimate pulling the rug out from under your feet.
Yeah.
I almost appreciated that as a weird tropism on its own tropisms. Like, we know the bridge being out is like such a common thing that it's like the writers just got baked one day and were like, what if there wasn't a bridge at all?
Holy shit.
That's crazy, man.
That's insane. What a twist.
Holy shit, man.
Wow. So there's a construction crew there. A typhoon apparently wiped out all the bridges along this river. And it'll be up in 6 months, and
Oof, that's a
it's
while.
gonna take them. How what? How incompetent are these workers that this one little bridge is gonna take 6 months?
City workers, am I right?
Am I right? My
I don't
brother
know.
built a deck for our parents in like 3 months.
Okay, a bridge is different.
A bunch of people. No, I'm just saying, but one person did that in that amount of time.
A bridge can actually be a
There's like
pretty
7
large
people.
project.
But this was not a large river.
How long does it take to build a bridge?
A wooden bridge across a river. Make sure it's that, because that's what these bridges are.
A bridge project can take as little as 4 months or as long as a year if more complex issues are involved.
I don't think this is a
You
complex
think they
bridge.
could do it in quicker than 4 months?
I think so.
I think building a bridge is a challenging undertaking. It involves a lot of different groups. You need the different regulations. You need the audits, the checks. It's a whole thing. Who's funding this though?
I don't know.
How does the
Some
Pokemon universe fund bridges?
bridges.
Yeah, we still haven't learned about the government.
It's probably
Almost
a government
like the government
thing, yeah.
is the Pokemon League.
But
That's what it feels like.
Yeah.
And they prioritize building gyms and stadiums and funding festivals. They don't give a fuck about our core civil infrastructure.
Huh.
The people
Interesting.
upstairs are totally corrupt, okay? They've got their clones, their Jenny clones running around, keeping people in line while they refuse to get our bridges up and running.
City government, am I right?
So anyways, it's going to take 6 months.
Yes. Team Rocket are flying around. They should go like straight up the river. Meowth is like, yeah, the cops should too. Meowth,
Yeah.
are you advocating to drown all the Jennies? The fuck? Out of nowhere.
It's quite twisted, Meowth. And I make cop jokes a lot on this podcast, but I do not advocate for that.
But James is cooking a potato skewer over
Yeah.
the hot air balloon flame. And they're like, well, if we turn up the flame, then it'll cook faster. So they crank the flame up and it burns the balloon up immediately.
Are the
They fall to the
spuds
ground.
done?
The gang see this old man in a boat. They ask if they could take him across. He's like, yeah, sure, but you gotta go catch me a Sudowoodo first. Bring me a Sudowoodo,
This
I'll
is
ferry
the
you across the river.
MacGuffin of the episode. We got to get across the river, and this rare Pokemon needs to be found to appease the fishermen so that we can get across. Ash, to learn more about this now, Dex is Sudowoodo. So this is kind of our first knowledge check on this thing, known as the imitation Pokemon.
Mm-hmm. Yep, and we'll see it in a bit. So, but Team Rocket's hearing about this, so they want to go find it too to get across this river.
And maybe get a rare Pokemon along the way.
Exactly. So they're looking through the forest, which is unbelievably dense. Cue Psyduck coming out.
Speaking of things that are dense, Psyduck just like runs off.
But he stumbles across this weird-looking tree thing.
Looks just like a tree.
Looks like a tree.
I couldn't tell. I thought it was a tree.
Yeah, no, it's exactly the same. Tries to show Misty, and she's just like, Psyduck, there's only trees over here. We're looking for a Sudowoodo, not trees.
Oh, Misty.
But then Sudowoodo tries to sneak away, and she spots him, and he runs. Sudowoodo!
Yeah, Sudowoodo trying to flee. He runs kind of like Mr. Game & Watch or something. Mr. Game & Watch, but like celebrating the 4th of July.
And so the gang chases them, but they stumble across these two researchers that are arguing. She's all like, the reports are wrong. We need new evidence. And he's like, but they already got the evidence. This is fine. You're just being like stubborn. Don't be this way. I hate you. This is Pierre and Marie. They're looking for Sudowoodo for a research paper.
Now, are these names
Marie and Pierre Curie.
Yes, I thought so. There you go. Pierre and Marie Curie, so scientists. Marie Curie probably, I feel like the more well-known at this point for breakthroughs in radiation, and who famously died from side effects of some of the research.
But these two won't die. Not in this episode, at least.
Well, maybe eventually, unless they discover immortality through their hard-boiled scientific method. I thought this was pretty random sequence of events in the sense that, like, running into these characters really felt like stumbling into a different episode. Suddenly, these two lab coats are standing in like an open field, just yelling at each other. Marie thinks the experts could be wrong. Like, okay, so they're arguing about Sudowoodo. They're disagreeing about the type.
Mm-hmm.
This is actually a stand-in for Kellan and the idiots online. Kellan is Pierre. He knows what's going on. He's got the facts already. Marie wanting to question everything, wanting to disregard science, wanting to see for herself before she believes, a real doubting Thomas situation. Am I going for a religious metaphor or an internet one? We will see.
Yeah, and so Marie just like yells at Pierre, "You're like, do your own research, sheeple." And then she goes on Google and finds the one review that has been like debunked multiple times, 20 pages down in Google, and prints it off and thinks that she knows everything now.
Yeah, the thing I don't get about do your own research is like at the end of the day, then they're finding sources, right?
Mm-hmm.
So by do your own research, they're suggesting to find worse sources or just sources that confirm their own biases.
Well, looking for sources isn't really research because, like, the sources are the research. You're looking for the research.
I think that's what
Doing
I'm getting
research
at. I think that's why do
would
your own
be-
research is kind
yeah.
of a confusing statement in the way that proponents of alt media mean it to be. I don't think it's doing them a service, that phrase.
Yeah, do your own research. Like, no, the scientists already did that. Like, that's why I'm looking at this. They did the research, and now we have the statistics.
Right. No, actually, Marie isn't as stubborn as the people that we're talking about, and she has some interesting points, but I think she's overcorrecting a bit, and her
Mhm.
wanting to sort of disregard the scientific evidence in the favor of doing some more hands-on work is incorrect. But we'll see this ahead. They do get to a bit of a compromise. So in this moment, though, Marie thinks the experts could be wrong. There's observations where Sudowoodo used fire attacks, and that's really confusing. So she wants to find its type out firsthand. And and at this point, Brock simps for Marie. He says,
Yours is the first hand I've held in a long time.
and just
I don't
grabs
think that's
her hand.
true.
You grab a hand like every episode.
Yeah. Probably been like 2 episodes or something. He
Yeah.
hasn't simped in too long. Like Casey, no. Mary, no. Whitney.
Yeah, I
Whitney,
think
Whitney,
he simped for
flirted with.
Whitney. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we called out. We were surprised he didn't simp for DJ Mary. That
Yeah,
and
because
very, very
what is
glad
his
that nothing
taste?
weird with Casey
Yeah.
had to be discussed.
But yeah, so Pierre wants to prove that Sudowoodo's a rock type. And the gang's all like, rock type? It looks like a tree.
It looks like
Come
a
on.
tree, idiot. Don't you got glasses, idiot?
You're
Looks like a
stupid.
tree, idiot.
Brock flirts, blah, blah, blah. Maybe they could do some research in the field of love.
Boo.
Blah.
It sounds like the name of like an 80s love song. Research in the Field of Love by Huey Lewis and the News.
So Ash sends Noctowl to go find a Sudowoodo. People have seen all kinds of different Sudowoodo, plum trees, cherry trees, etc. But Pierre's like, yeah, but they're just grabbing branches to look like trees, and so that whole facade has fallen apart. But I got a question here from Alex. We know Alex, who asks, the scientist mentions briefly Sudowoodo that look like different trees, as in those. This would be another fun instance of a Pokemon that could have regional variations that look like different types of trees and plants.
Ooh,
What
I'm
tree
into
version
that.
of Sudowoodo would you most like to see? Cherry Blossom, Plum Blossom, Weeping Willow?
This is a fun idea. So
That is a
before
very
we get
fun
into this, Kellan,
we should talk about Sudowoodo then, yeah.
Oh, that's not even what I meant, but we'll get to it.
Okay.
We can answer the question though first, and then we'll talk about Sudowoodo. I just wanted to check with you. I'm assuming there hasn't been an actual regional variant of this Pokemon.
No,
right?
Sudowoodo is just Sudowoodo. He got a baby
Okay, great.
in Gen 4, but that's
So,
it.
like, I'm kind of a little bit surprised that a Hawaiian kind of palm tree one for the Alolan
Well, that's
region
Executor.
wasn't done. Oh, yeah, maybe that'd just be too similar. You're right.
Yeah.
Something fun could be there though, maybe. Oh, if they ever do a West Coast one, like American West Coast, a redwood tree. Just like a massive redwood tree. That would
Yeah,
be
one of those giant ones.
Those giant ones. Yeah.
But it's just Sudowoodo's like regular design,
But
except
humongous.
but it's like just really stretched out and wide.
Yeah,
And its
exactly.
but its arms haven't adapted to it, so it's just like a really, really wide like log with like stubby T-Rex arms
Yeah,
coming out of it.
that'd be beautiful. It's
Be
actually
funny.
like not very effective at anything. Except like it's got like so much HP.
What about a Christmas tree Sudowoodo?
Oh, that's fun, but like
That'd be fun.
from the Nordic regions.
Yeah. When they do the North Pole region in Gen 30.
Yeah, there you go. That's a
It's all
fun
based on
idea.
Santa, yeah. But also, Alex saying Weeping Willow got me thinking, give me Sudowoodo as a Whomping Willow from Harry Potter.
The Whomping Willow
The
from
Whomping
the
Willow.
Chamber of Secrets that
Yeah.
bites the car.
Yeah.
That would be pretty funny if during that scene it's also screaming Sudowoodo.
Sudowoodo!
Yeah.
But yeah, let's, like, that makes no sense, though, any of that, if you don't know what Sudowoodo is. So let's talk Sudowoodo, shall we?
Yeah, teach me about this thing.
Sudowoodo is a big rock that's supposed to look like a tree, but honestly doesn't, really.
It
Like, it's obvious.
It looks tree-ish,
Right.
though. It's weird. It's like,
It's got a face!
I mean, this is Pokemon, so a tree with a face wouldn't be that. That's not any weirder than a rock with a face, Kellan.
Still, yeah, but, like, we don't do the whole thing of, like, oh, Geodude's not actually a rock. Like, it is a rock. But this
Right.
is supposed to be imitating a tree. I don't think it really looks like. What kind of tree is that? With the arms and the 3 green bulbs.
Well, you're half right. And what it looks like isn't a real tree. It looks like a children's drawing of a tree.
Like, that's true, yeah.
So I think there's a tree-ness that you get out of it, like a, what's the word, a defamiliarization of a tree or something like that. Like an abstraction of a tree.
I thought a treeness was just like a tree's dick.
Yeah. Oh, my tree-ness. You don't want to learn about that side of Sudowoodo. You're really learning about the Woodo in the Sudo.
Heyo.
So this thing, it was introduced Gen 2.
Yep.
People will remember it as being pivotal in Gold and Silver Crystal because you need to get a squirt bottle to get by them, right?
Yeah, it's the obstacle right after the national park where we were at last week. So
So they're keeping up with things.
continuing on with that, which is awesome. And yeah, you got to get the squirt bottle, which is something we will see in the episode. They're like, there's this weird tree hanging out on that root, but it doesn't seem to like water, so take this.
Yeah,
And then you spray it with the water, and it tries to kick your ass.
that's true.
Yeah.
Now, tell me about viability. I've never tried using this thing. I think it has
It's
like
alright.
a weird moveset, doesn't it?
It's okay, yeah. It's got good defense and a decent attack stat. That's about it, really.
And does it have something weird with moves? Like in this episode, they really stress Mimic a lot. Is that
Yeah.
a thing?
It has Mimic, yeah. It comes with that.
But it gets
Um,
other moves too?
Yeah, and I mean, Gen 2 has a whole thing of, like, movesets being bad. Like, very few Pokemon have actually good movesets in early generations. But it has a decent, pretty basic moveset, honestly. A lot of just, like, fighting rock moves. TMs expand that, but there's too many to go into there. Sudowoodo is alright. It's nothing groundbreaking, but it's not bad.
Groundbreaking. More like rock breaking. Kellan, you're a genius. Sorry.
Anyway, that's
Sorry.
Sudowoodo.
I think that my brain has miscalibrated when I said I was going to be your ally in this, and I have become your fanboy.
I don't need that. That's okay.
Yeah, I don't need that in my life. Yeah, I get you.
No. Anyway, that's
Anything more
Sudowoodo.
about Sudowoodo? Yeah.
Not unless you got any other questions.
Not at the moment. Well,
Oh, you know what's fun though about Sudowoodo in Gen 9, Scarlet and Violet? The whole, the gimmick is all like terrestrialization. You can change your type. Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. Well, I haven't played it, but I think I
Yeah.
saw in trailers like they turned crystal or something.
Yeah, and then it changes your type
'Kay.
based on what your Terra type is. So I can make like my Gyarados a ground type, which is wild.
Whoa.
Yeah. But the second gym, or the second intended gym, because you can't do them in any fucking order, even though it's an open world game, but whatever. The ace of the grass gym is a Sudowoodo, and when the guy terrestrializes it into a grass type, he's like, I call this truly Woodo.
Truly Woodo?
Truly Woodo.
That is actually good, Joe.
Because he's now grass type. So
I kind of thought he would say, I just call this Woodo. Like, not even say the Sudo.
no, it's truly Woodo.
Truly Woodo is pretty good.
Yeah, because we haven't even talked about this. Oh no, we did. You went into it, but pseudo fake Woodo wood fake wood. It's not a goddamn tree.
I think I screamed it at
Yeah.
our listeners when I
You
was
yelled about
berating
Latin
them.
roots.
Latin roots, people. I should double check that. I think that pseudo is Latin.
I'm pretty sure. That sounds like everything is Latin, isn't it?
Oh fuck! It's the other one, Kellan. It's Greek.
Greek?
It's Greek.
Oh no!
It was a 50-50 and I fucked up. It's Greek, Kellan. My whole rant at the beginning is diminished.
Just say the word Greek real quick, and I'll cut it in at the start.
Greek.
There you go. I'll edit that in, and it'll be really bad. And now you'll know the source of that, everybody.
Yeah, now you're disentangling this strange editing in real time. It was a blast.
Question is, will I actually do that, or will I be too tired?
And you know what? Both are funny.
Both are funny. Yeah.
It's both for it to have stuck, for Nolan to have lost his mind. Nolan, producer of the show, will be sitting there listening, and at the start, he'll be like, Graham, it's Greek. He'll even text us. He'll be like, it's Greek, you fucking morons. And then like he'll get to this part and he'll be like, oh, you noticed that already. Okay, good. It'll be great.
All right. So back into the episode. That's Sudowoodo for you. I do like its cry in this episode, though. It's funny.
It is fun. It's weird because, like, okay, so
it fits.
This Pokemon's whole thing is trying to blend in. Like, he's like a camouflage Pokemon. But they've like, but not in like a stealthy kind of way, in like a cartoony coward kind of way, right? They made him like scaredy cat.
There's also, oh god, we're going nowhere fast.
We're getting nowhere fast, folks.
But I was looking at Sudowoodo's Bulbapedia page, and there's a really, really amazing Pokemon card from the Paldea sets, the new ones. I'm gonna send it to you, and I'm gonna put it up on the video because like this is an incredible card, and I need it in my life right now. It's so cute. Oh, it's so fun.
Oh, that is genius. And you know what? Like, so because it was kind of small before I brought it up, I didn't even notice Sudowoodo.
Exactly. That's so good.
So it's like a city sidewalk kind of scene.
Yeah.
And there's like trees along the sidewalk.
Goes tree hedge, Sudowoodo hedge, tree hedge.
Yeah, so it's him trying to blend in with the trees. That's adorable. And
it's really nice artwork,
since
too.
The first move on it is called Hit and Hide. And like if you don't notice Sudowoodo right away, that's really fun.
That's great. It's a good card.
Yeah, beautiful artwork. Like poster worthy. Very nice.
Anyway, back to the episode. For real this time.
So we went through Marie and Pierre's arguments, and now the gang is really wanting to keep their search on, right? And so we've got multiple forces here. We've got Marie and Pierre wanting to research this thing to confirm or deny their arguments. The gang is still after this to appease the fishermen, and Team Rocket is somewhere nearby. Ash, to kind of push the plot forward, lets out Noctowl to try to go spot Sudowoodo for them.
And they find one right over there. It starts running away, but Chikorita comes out, and Sudowoodo starts vine whipping. Except it's not really a vine whip. He's just flinging around a vine he found, which was funny.
Yeah, but Marie thinks that it's like evidence of grass. But no, it's just holding stuff.
It's just holding a vine. And then it goes for a razor leaf, but no, just kind of threw some dried leaves that it found.
At least it has good taste in vines, is what Brock says, and I don't know what that means.
Neither.
Mighty Chikorita, fine vine, Brock.
But Chikorita goes for her vine whip, and it hurts. And then Sudowoodo turns around and whips out a real vine whip this time. So things are getting confusing. And then it shakes its maracas. Cha-cha-cha. Cha-cha-cha.
Yeah, and Marie is like stunned by this whole thing. She's like, I don't know what to believe. And Brock says, well, when you do, let me know and I'll agree with you.
I like that he's aware of that, you know?
Oh, yeah, I know, right?
At least he gets it. At least he gets himself, you know?
I'm an idiot with a mission.
Yeah. So Totodile comes out. He and Sudowoodo dance. It's great.
I like that, yeah.
A lot of maraca shaking from Sudowoodo in this episode. Sudo.
His built-in maracas, right?
Exactly.
You're calling the little rock
the little green ones. Yeah. Because they make a maraca sound.
Oh, yeah. It kind of feels to me like those, what are those, like, daddy Koroks from the Zelda games?
It's has to, yeah.
Yeah, who like upgrades your inventory in the
Yeah.
open world ones.
With Korok poop, yeah.
Yeah, with Korok poop.
And then he shakes his maracas and dances.
Yeah, he
That's
shakes
what
his
it
maracas.
reminded me of. So Totodile goes for the tackle, gets dodged, water gun gets dodged. It seems to really hate water. I wonder why that could possibly be. Totodile tries to bite it, and it just kind of chases Sudowoodo into a hole. And I think it's Ash. It's like, did it use dig? And then it gets brought up in a net. And we're like, oh, it did not use dig.
That was pretty funny. Did Sudowoodo just use dig?
And so Team Rocket, prepare for trouble because we're in cahoots, and make it double right down to our roots. I like that one. That one's fun.
They're dressed up as trees this whole time. I actually thought it was pretty funny.
Like, actually good disguises. Like, they're camouflaged quite well.
For once.
Yeah.
I think they put more effort into disguising into costumes they use just for their chant than into costumes they use for actually trying to blend in some way. And that's kind of cool.
Sure, if that's depends on your definition of the word.
Depends
cool,
on your definition of the word cool, absolutely.
So we're using smoke screens and they disappear with Sudowoodo. Brock is like I didn't write this down because it was a long one, but he's super determined to find Sudowoodo. He's like, I'll find it, and if I don't, I'll dedicate my all day and all night, every day. I'll leave my friends forever, and I'll stay here with you all day and night until I find it. Blah blah blah.
That was the main part I got. We'll find Sudowoodo, and if we don't, I'll leave my friends. And Misty just bonks him. Well, she hammers him. She's got a hammer.
And so back to Team Rocket. They're debating Sudowoodo's typing. James thinks it's grass type. James, you idiot. And then Wobbuffet just pops out. I think he's like trying to weigh in on the conversation, but Jesse just like tells him to shut up. He gets really sad, which was unfortunate.
Yeah, but then Sudowoodo and Wobbuffet are kind of vibing out.
Yeah, they're just like, they're becoming fast friends. I like it.
Yeah.
Meowth asks it what type it is, and Sudowoodo is like, I just want to eat, man. I'm hungry.
Just
and
dances,
so Meowth's like,
and
we'll get you food. We'll get you food when you tell us what type you are. And Sudowoodo's like, I'm the type that wants to eat. And so they're not getting it out of him.
Jesse goes more like the type that drives me crazy.
But yeah, him and Wobbuffet are really hitting it off.
Yeah, I like that.
And they're like, whatever, okay, we'll just take it to the old man and we'll get across the river, blah, blah, blah. And so they take it to the old man. It won't talk, though. He's like, this thing seems a little unhealthy.
Thinks it's
and so
sick.
James is like, oh, I'll use my squirt bottle that I use on Victory Bell and we'll freshen it up. Give it a nice drink. And Sudowoodo's like, no, please don't.
Breaks the rope, starts running.
And runs out, breaks the rope completely. And James doesn't get it, but the old man is like dumbfounded. Like, what the fuck just happened?
Yeah, and he's interested now. He's changed his tune from thinking this is some kind of sick fake, and now is following. So he's also in on the chase now.
Yeah, he's like, maybe I can catch it before they do. I mean, maybe these three look a little sketchy, so maybe I should go after this thing as well. But back to the gang. Pikachu spots what I thought was a different Sudowoodo, but I guess it's the same one.
That's so too,
perched up on a rock.
It seemed like a vastly different location.
Way too quick of a cut for it to just be standing there on the rock with the branches.
But the show does seem to state that this is the same Sudowoodo, or at least highly imply that. So we see it on the rock. It's trying to hide from Team Rocket, I guess. It's like holding these tree branches. Okay.
It's so funny because like I wish we would have seen Team Rocket see that, because considering that they use branches as disguises sometimes, I wonder if that would have worked on them.
That would have been pretty funny, a bit, where they were like thinking that this was actually like an ingenious disguise.
Brilliant.
Right? That's how they see disguises.
Yeah. But they approach the Sudowoodo. It keeps to run again. Brock goes for like the defense position and like tackles Sudowoodo and then just starts licking it.
This is one of Brock's boldest plays to impress a woman. I gotta say.
I'm gonna lick a rock.
Fellas, if you have a crush,
go lick some rocks.
Find the specimen your crush is trying to research, tackle, and lick it. She'll be in your arms in no time.
Yeah, I don't know if that's the advice you want to give on this podcast.
Yeah.
But yeah, he licks it and then like force feeds it Pokechow and bribes it to get back to the lab.
The food kind of works though, and we did hear from Meowth before that it was hungry, so this does make sense, I suppose. Although, even if I get fed, if someone just starts licking me, I'm probably not going to be in a great mood.
No. I don't think I need to say this, but if you ever meet me in real life, don't lick me.
There you go.
Just like as a general statement to those listening.
Unless it's DJ Mary.
That's the exception, yes.
So Misty has a fun burn here, though, because they're talking about going back to the lab. Misty's like, are there any psychiatrists back at the lab? Referring to Brock.
I think Brock needs that after what just
Oh,
transpired.
yes.
Anyway, so we're at the lab. They ask for a vine whip. Sudowoodo can't do it. So Brock offers the food. Still no. And they're like, okay, well, maybe we need to maim it. Maybe we need to brutally injure it, and it'll whip out the vine whip in defense. So Pikachu goes for a Thunder Shock, and Sudowoodo Thunder Shocks back. What the fuck?
Second time we've seen an attack seemingly deflected, but not in the same way that, like, wobbuffet.
Not in the counter way.
Not in the counter way. This is like it is repeating the move, essentially.
Yeah. And so Pierre has finally found it in the book. The section that would have answered all of their questions.
I've been looking in this book for ages, but I don't know how to use an index.
Sudowoodo knows Mimic, which mimics other Pokemon's moves. It's as simple as that, people.
You want to teach me about this attack? So you said this is a game attack, right? I don't actually remember it. And does it have to be used second then, or how does it work?
Yeah, so Mimic, it was introduced in Gen 1, but it works differently in Gen 2. In Gen 2, it will copy the target's last used move. If they haven't used a move yet, I believe it just fails, and you just do it again. And then you keep that move for the remainder of the battle.
Oh, it like locks in?
Yeah, and then it's like choosable.
At the time that you use it?
Yes. So like, okay, if I'm in a battle, I got Sudowoodo out against Pidgeot, and Pidgeot goes for Gust, and then I use Mimic. I will Mimic Gust, and then for the rest of the battle, Gust is in my moveset in place of Mimic.
Okay. That's kind of interesting. Sounds super situational.
Oh, yeah. It is.
Like, I imagine there are fights where it's a godsend, and then there's other ones where, like, you wouldn't use it at all.
No. I've never seriously used Mimic. I don't think.
Yeah, because it doesn't generalize, right? It's like certain cases it could be useful, but why would I dedicate a slot to that?
It's much more usable in Gen 1, because in Gen 1, you use Mimic, and the game's just like, okay, here are the 4 moves that the opponent has. Which one would you like?
Oh, that's
and then you just get to choose a move that for your moveset for the rest of the battle.
I can see why they toned it down.
Yeah. But yeah, that's Mimic. It's about what we see, essentially. Because like set movesets aren't a thing in the show, so this is about as good of a adaptation as you would expect.
It works. So yeah, we've got Pierre and Marie kind of now having a breakthrough, right? Marie is understanding now that this is what was being observed with Chikorita's Vine Whip, now Pikachu's Thunder, and probably the fire attacks that were reported too.
And so Pierre's like, yeah, I'm sure this is a rock type. Let me spray it. The little evil side of Pierre coming out here.
I know, it's that evil scientist.
Yeah. So he tries to spray it, but it just runs away. Right to Team Rocket. And then the old man comes in too. And the gang has followed. And the scientists are there. Everyone's together. And we learned that the old fisherman is Marie's grandpa.
I did not see this coming, Kellan.
Yeah, that was random as fuck.
I didn't see it coming because it was sort of like incidental to the story. But kind of fun because we find out that this is the whole reason that the fisherman wanted the Sudowoodo in the first place was because his granddaughter wanted it. He didn't even know why. And that was actually
that's a grandparent thing. Yeah.
I actually liked that. I thought that was a pretty fun way to twist on the episode's whole MacGuffin, right?
Yeah, because like if there wasn't this explanation, it would have just been there's this coincidental old guy that also wants a Sudowoodo,
right?
For no apparent reason. But now it's like the grandpa who's like, I don't understand all these newfangled trends, but I'll support you if that's what you want. Sure.
Is this thing one of those TikToks I keep hearing about?
Back in my day, all we had was Nintendos. That's all I knew about. So it's fight time now, right?
Yeah, Team Rocket versus the gang.
Arbok comes out, Cyndaquil comes out. Some good battle music. Arbok goes for a tackle, but between them is Sudowoodo, who just grabs it by the end of the tail and fucking slams it on the ground.
Just tosses it.
It was sweet.
It was
great.
Sweet.
It wants to fight, and it goes for the maracas again. It jumps up, and feint attacks it from above, which I didn't really think this was a feint attack because it kicked it. But
Yeah, he
whatever.
just kicks it, but the show is very careful to point out that it's a feint attack.
Mhm.
And it's not the only kind of kick it knows because then it follows up with a low kick, which seems to take out Arbok.
Yeah, and the low kick is like not really anything either. It's just like it just kind of like trips it essentially. It goes down.
It did kind of look like when you do down and kick in like the original Mortal Kombat
Yeah.
games, and it's this really like long stretched out leg that trips them.
Yeah, exactly. Team Rocket are like, this Pokemon is slippy, tricky, and cowardly.
Tricky, slippery, and cowardly.
The perfect Pokemon for Team Rocket.
Yeah, Jesse's
Perfect
suddenly in love with the thing. He's like, he's such a slimy bastard. I love it. It's like cool wobbuffet.
So Wobbuffet is in battle now.
Yeah, there we go.
But Sudowoodo like kind of stops him. He's like, no, because Cyndaquil goes for a fire, and Sudowoodo jumps in the middle of it and returns fire, pun intended. Because I think he wants to fight Wobbuffet.
Yeah.
But Cyndaquil tackles, gets countered. Poliwhirl comes out now from Misty. Cyndaquil, I liked this. This bit was fun. Cyndaquil distracts Wobbuffet with fire while Poliwhirl like water guns from below, and it sends like Wobbuffet into Arbok into Team Rocket, blasting off again.
Yeah, Poliwhirl's like a pretty cool Pokemon actually. Like,
Yeah, I'm liking Poliwhirl.
It's Misty's muscles, really. Like she doesn't have a whole lot of strong Pokemon on her at the moment, except for situationally Psyduck.
Psyduck once in a while.
Yeah.
We haven't seen Psyduck whip those powers out in a long time.
No, I think they got a little bit tired of using it as the get out of jail free card, I guess.
So Team Rocket's gone blasting off again, and Sudowoodo, it's kind of like the water gun is like kind of sprinkling down like a hose, misting, and Sudowoodo's like freaking out, panicking,
running around.
Very funny. Runs away, and Marie's like, "Don't chase it. We're fine. We know. We got the research. We figured it out. I saw it with my own eyes, so I can finally believe it. Come on, Marie."
I'm no longer a doubting Thomas, Jesus. I'm just Thomas.
I don't get that, but sure.
Oh, come on, Kellan. If we
Doubting
both had
Thomas?
this same oppress. You don't remember Doubting Thomas?
Is that Bible? Is that a character in the Bible?
Yeah, so it's like
I do not remember that one.
One of the apostles, and he was oh my god, I'm actually giving a Bible lesson on here. Okay. So he's the one of the apostles that didn't believe that Jesus returned from the dead. He's like, I gotta like touch the old hand holes before I know it. And then so Jesus finally comes to him, and then Thomas is all embarrassed. He's like, why didn't I believe? And he's like, because you're a loser, Thomas. And it's a lesson in faith. So
I gotta stick my thumb through your hand before I believe anything.
It's propaganda.
Take a propaganda these nuts, am I right?
Hey-o. Propaganda these nuts. Nice. Anyways, that's great Bible lesson for the week.
Yeah. So Murray gets it. It's a rock type. Mimic is what was making the whole thing confusing. She's like, maybe we should focus on the facts instead of winning an argument, which I think we should show this episode to many boomers in the world, just for fun.
And many politicians.
Mm-hmm.
We're also boomers.
Yeah. Anyway, but then it just like hard cuts to sunset because I think they were running out of time. And the old man ferries them across the river. They're waving goodbye to the researchers. They're heading to Ecruteak. Quick clip. And
hard cut again.
Night,
Team Rocket's climbing a cliff at night. Grab onto a branch. What's this? It's a Sudowoodo.
Who drops the branch and in turn drops them to their death. And that's the episode.
And they are dead. All right, so a literary hour. The trope I was thinking about this week is the trope of rival science teams. You know, you've seen this in shows where there's scientists who disagree, just like in this one. Sometimes it's like two sides of a battle with different ideologies. Sometimes it's just two scientists trying to solve the same problem, but coming from vastly different perspectives. You know, in video games, I really think of Dr. Wily and Dr. Light from Mega Man as sort of a science team that I think about. In movies, we've got the Pacific Rim. The two scientists have very different approaches on the kaiju that they are studying and trying to defeat. But for a book, I've got from the Artemis Fowl series, which I'll admit I haven't read, so I'm paraphrasing this. But
Shakus.
There's rival scientists Foley the Centaur and Opal the Pixie, whereas Foley's on one side, the fairy police force, and Opal is the prestigious heir of the Cowboy Company. and becomes a main villain. Oh, spoilers.
Oh.
The opposite sides of the law, even though they have the same scientific endeavors. That's interesting.
It is. Tis fascinating. Tis. All right, let's rate
Tis.
this bad boy.
All right, so this next segment is the 4-pour, the plastic ping pong pitcher of objective rankings. We're going to pull 2 categories at random from our pitcher of ping pong balls and rate the episode based on those categories. Kellan, what do we got up first?
One order of business, though.
Okay.
It was brought up briefly last week. But yeah, we're just gonna call the wobbuffet category Margaritaville.
And Ken, we get your official statement on why you seceded?
Let me pull it up from the group chat. In my my official statement was from the desk of me. My team has conducted a thorough internal investigation, i.e., listening to Margaritaville at the moment and remembering that yes, Jimmy Buffett is pure vibes, and we have determined no reason to hold off on this matter any longer. Court adjourned.
The jury agrees.
Yep. All right. Because yeah, you guys are saying. I mean, I still think it's dumb, but whatever. It works.
This whole podcast
Jimmy,
is dumb.
Yeah, that's right. Jimmy Wobbuffet, pure vibes. The category is how well do we vibe with Wobbuffet in this episode.
Jimmy Wobbuffet.
Anyway, first category for typecasting will be Jesus Christ. It came right up. It's Margaritaville.
Oh wow! Already, that's great. You couldn't have planned it any better.
Yeah, that's
to
good.
the point. I think
I didn't plan it just to get people off my back. That was genuine. You heard me shaking the whole fucking thing for like 30 seconds. So
okay, so Wobbuffet moments. I mean,
we're headed to Margaritaville.
I like the part a lot where him and Sudowoodo are vibing off. Right,
yeah,
when he comes up. And then
he gets verbally berated a couple times.
Yeah. What other parts do we see Wobbs?
It's a little more than normal. Usually he just like pops up and Jesse's like "fuck you," and then he goes back in the ball. But we got a little more this week of him talking to Sudowoodo and then battling a little bit.
I did really like the part with him and Sudowoodo.
I did like that.
Along to each other.
I think
so that's gonna work for me a bit.
Yeah, I think. In terms of relating it to things we've already seen, I think last week was better with his like baseball knowledge and being really disappointed in Team Rocket for not understanding.
That's
I
true.
thought that was very fun.
Higher, yeah.
But this is still a little higher above average in terms of vibing with Wobbuffet. I'm gonna go 6.7.
Okay, and I'll go 7 flat.
7 flat, so that is a 6.85. Second category will be it's Sunset Boulevard.
So we only have the one sunset.
Just one sunset, and it's not around for very long. It's very short.
It is at the end of the episode. It is more
at the
or
end,
less a goodbye scene, though a little bit different because
that is peak sunset in terms of placement. It's only the one.
Yeah.
But that's still peak sunset, so it's still pretty high. I always talk about creating a baseline for sunsets, but we're never gonna remember that. So we'll make a new baseline every time we pull the ball.
Yeah, I can never remember the rules.
Yeah, like the initial thought was sunset at the end of the episode is 10, and then we were like, but sometimes there's more than one sunset, whatever. But this is still like the big thing is putting the sunset at the end where they're saying goodbye. So that's I think 8.
Does it just have to be an 8, or can I still give a score?
That's my baseline this week.
Okay.
Next week it might be different.
Well, for this week's subjectively objective baseline, that is objective because it's from the 4-pour, I'm going to go with a 7.
7.
2 7s for me.
Yeah. Oh, wow. 7.5 for that. Overall, typecasting gets a 7.175. Good score.
Pretty good
Solid
score.
score.
It's about that. Yeah.
All right, let's move on to 165, Fossil Fools.
Okay, another bit of a fun one, but I gotta say, Kellan, I think this episode breaks a bit of a streak that the show had been doing, and you can help confirm or deny this for me, but I have appreciated the game accuracy that it had been taking us through, right, where we were hitting these locations and events kind of in order, right, the forest, and then Goldenrod, and then the national park, the radio right, it was going in order. Sudowoodo. Yeah. Now we're at the ruins of Alpha. That's way back there.
I'm gonna actually you.
Okay.
Actually, in the games, once you defeat Sudowoodo, the path branches and you get a shortcut back to Violet City, where the ruins of Alpha are.
Oh, okay. That kind of works, actually. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
So they just took a little detour because Oak invited them.
Sudowoodo actually opened. Oh, okay. That's nice. I was hoping you would teach me something.
Like Sudowoodo, because I think Route 36 is where Sudowoodo is, and 36 can be accessed from Violet City. It's just two different paths that are blocked by Sudowoodo until you get that third badge. And so the Ruins of Elf are like right there past Sudowoodo. So
okay.
So you're wrong. Oh, how dare you?
So it was a convenient detour.
It was.
Oh, nice. Okay, that opens us up a bit.
Yeah, so we're still on that, which is great. But we're at the Ruins of Elf, and yeah, Oak is here. He's just here. They're looking at Aerodactyl bones, and he's like, you can tell it's an Aerodactyl from the way the tail is like an arrow. And I'm like, you can also tell it's an Aerodactyl by the fact that it looks like a fucking Aerodactyl. Like, that's just what Aerodactyl looks like.
I never realized that the arrow tail is the distinguishing factor.
Yeah.
Because what else would you get it confused with?
Exactly.
Are there linodactyls? Squarodactyls? Like, what's going on?
They all have different basic shapes.
Right.
They got the Squid Game thing of a circle, a triangle, a star, and then one of them has like an umbrella on the tail, which is weird.
Or like the PlayStation buttons.
Yeah.
It's not an arrow, Oak. It's triangle. Did you know that?
But the thing here about the Ruins of Elf being a whole fossil thing is that in the game, in Gen 2 especially, like, it's not a fossil place. It's all about unknown.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's the same location, but it's not the same research, essentially, going on.
No, it's used with some major liberties here.
Yeah.
I think they do something fun, but it fits more in line with, like, the Pewter Museum or something like that.
In Gen 4, they added the that you can get the Gen 1 fossils by rock smashing in the Ruins of Elf. But that's it, essentially.
Okay.
But yeah, in Gen 2, it's all about unknown. There's the puzzles that unlock chambers and stuff, and some of those are like based on the fossil Pokemon, but that's literally like it.
Yeah.
But and whatever, I don't care. We already looked at unknown. We can use this for fossils.
No,
I don't care.
fine. It's fine. They use unknown in the movie. I don't think they're interesting enough to really bring back. So
no.
Wurzelmanite is a fun Pokemon, so let's get into this.
Oh, I'll praise Lord Helix just off the top.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, Oak had asked them to come here. That's why they're not like surprised by seeing Oak, which I was surprised by seeing Oak because he just fucking pops up.
Yeah.
But he says that an old student of his made an incredible discovery, invited him here to see it, and we go meet that student. This is Foster, and we learned that Oak didn't ask Foster if it was okay to invite these children to come along with him. He just did
brought these kids. And he's like, who the fuck are they? And also, okay, this Foster guy looks so anime. Like, he looks like Gon from Hunter x Hunter. I've said other characters look like Gon, but he totally does. He's like Gon mixed with like Gohan, kind of.
If we pull Black Parade enthusiasts, this is the guy.
Yeah, you think this is the guy? Yeah,
this is the guy. He definitely knows. But yeah, they're like, we won't say anything, we promise. And they're giving like the big eyes. The puppy dog look.
Their eyes are shimmering, right?
Yeah.
And Foster's like, I don't want any leaks. This gets to the press. It's all going up in flames, Oak.
And then Ash is like, what's that guy doing? And Foster's like, oh, he's removing dirt with a water jet.
Yeah, and he kind of like explains. We have this fun little Saturday morning science lesson about the water jet device, how it like doesn't hurt the fossils, but it removes the dirt around it.
But they're having water flow problems. And so the water jet's not working that well. It's like, oh, that's why we're looking at this. That's why it's not a random ass thing. Which it seemed like at first, because it's just like Ash is just like, what's that guy doing? And Foster's just like, I don't know, he's using a water jet.
It was kind of ADHD of Ash. Right?
Yeah.
He's like, oh, I'm not allowed to be here. Oh, what's happening over there?
Yeah.
Okay.
The water, they're having water flow problems. The source is deep in the forest. And so we go deep in the forest and we see, of course, it's Team Rocket. They're collecting and bottling the water to sell. Because apparently the Ruins of Elf water is like famous or something.
Apparently.
I don't know.
I don't really get why this isn't like the mountains. It's actually like a low point in Johto, isn't it? Right? And you've got the lakes nearby, so you'd think that'd be better. I would think the Slowpoke well water might be more interesting. But anyways, this is apparently a famous reservoir. So they are siphoning up water, putting them in bottles and slapping Meowth's face on it.
I'd buy
Business with a twist.
that. Yeah.
Jessie thinks she's going to be rich. She's fantasizing jewels and dresses and stuff. Meowth is eating sushi in his dreams. James is also eating expensive sushi.
No more day-old sushi bars for James.
Nope, it's the fancy stuff.
Yeah.
And then the
pump
jams.
stops.
Yeah, the pump jams.
Oh, and then we go back to the gang in Foster. We see looking at his collection, got a preserved skeleton of Kabutops, and he's like, we've always estimated that the first Pokemon lived about 2 million years ago, but it would seem that this fossil is 20 to 30,000 years older than that. And I'm like, okay, but does that really make a difference in how we think about the world? Like, to me,
those aren't like significant digits. Really.
No,
like you're estimating something at 2,000 versus Anyways,
if it was like we thought the first Pokemon lived 30,000 years ago, but these are 20,000 years older, it'd be like, oh, okay, that's interesting. But when you're working with a number that large, it doesn't really do much. It's like how old do we think the Earth is? Like 6.9 billion years old or something like that? How old is
6.9. That's it, Kellan.
I don't know. 4.5. Am I thinking of population? I don't know. Maybe.
No, I'm making fun of you because you chose 69.
Oh, I didn't even mean to do that. Go me. All right.
Yeah.
4.5. I Googled it. 4.5. Okay, so if someone was like, we thought the Earth was 4.5 billion years old, but new evidence has come to light that it's actually 4.6 billion years old. I'd be like, okay,
like,
that doesn't really change anything.
It's old.
If you were like, it's actually 20 billion years old, I'd be like, fuck, really? That's crazy.
And maybe there is a detail that it changes, but you would want to lead with the detail because it's like just hearing that fact
means nothing
like
to
a normal
the
person would. Exactly. So it's like, oh, this actually changes how we look at this era of life or something because they would have had to evolve at a different rate. Bit more interesting. But that given as a fact, you're right. Like the age itself isn't that interesting.
And so Foster talks about like his thesis statement from when he was a student and how he believes that all Pokemon came from water, like how we believe the same thing. And Misty is like, no fucking way.
She's like,
really?
Water? You said water? I love water.
Are you joking right now? Don't be messing with me, Foster. Don't be messing with me.
And now for once, she's like, she
gets
leave
eared.
the gang.
Yeah. Except I don't really feel like Misty is like really into Foster. She just likes this theory a lot.
She just likes water Pokemon. No, I don't think she's like making a pass.
No.
But Brock gets to grab her by the ear for once. Time to dry up, Misty.
And so Foster takes them to, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Pokemon Study Park.
And a robot Aerodactyl flies by and then eats the kids.
So they go to this ancient Pokemon study park in the lab or by the lab, whatever. It's a diorama. The Aerodactyl's a robot. A volcano erupts, wiping out all civilian life as we know it.
It's Pompeii. It's under siege. Someone tell the Emperor.
But Foster's like, they erupted all the time. Ancient Pokemon had to learn to adapt, blah, blah, blah. We look at some rocks. They're green. They've got lichen on it. Was abundant on prehistoric
These rocks
coastlines.
are green. It's lichen. Liking these nuts. 2 these nuts in one episode.
That's insane.
You're welcome,
That's incredible.
listeners.
And then we see what's way cooler. This giant statue of a Kabutops killing a shark.
Kabutops Maximus. Kabutops Maximus Meridius Decimus.
Kabutops Maximus Dewey Decimal System.
Oh, nice.
But Ash is anxious to see this big discovery. And Foster's like, well, let's just finish this, and then maybe we'll see you later. And Oak's like, that's what I always said to get you off my back.
Oh, bird.
Oh, bird. But he's like, okay, well, if we wait here, we might see it. And then suddenly an Amistar and a couple of Ammonite emerge.
Yeah, and this is crazy.
They almost look real.
These gotta be robots, right? Because we saw the Aerodactyl robot.
One of them tickles Pikachu. So that's weird, because they're just robots. And Oak this whole time is like, no, don't tell me, Foster.
Don't do this to me. Don't do this
say
to me.
it. But they're real. These are real Ammonite and Amistar. Crazy.
Not
We've
so
already seen these
extinct
guys.
after all.
All praise Lord Helix. You got to make sure to get that in there multiple times.
Yeah, we kind of
Important.
knew this from a previous event where everyone got their like memory erased or some shit.
They got Men in Black, yeah.
Supposedly extinct Pokemon live underground.
Apparently, which
Apparently.
in my game head, I'm like, no, that's not right. This isn't cool. Don't do this to me. But they do it to me, and they laugh.
But they do it to me.
They had to do it to me, But yeah, they find out these are real, and the game just like kind of freaks out a little bit. And the Amistar, the fossil guys, just like bury their faces in the sand because they're scared.
Bury themselves. They're afraid.
That was cute.
Yeah, they're cute little guys.
They aren't used to humans, having lived for 6.9 billion years.
Yeah, exactly. Now, Oak's actually it turns out that these have always been an inspiration for him when he was a
liked
kid.
this bit.
Yeah, me too. He saw Omanite or Omastar, the shell, I think, in a museum, the fossil, and that really grabbed him, right? Like, that was an inspiration for him to wanting to learn more about Pokemon. So this felt like meeting old friends for him.
It's like this full circle moment in his career, and it's something he never thought would ever happen, and now it has, and it's just an incredible thing. And I love this for Oak. So happy for you, Oak.
Yeah, really nice moment. Right up there with banging Ash's mom for him.
Those are 1 and 2. It's a close race, So with that, we have a question from Tristan, not about banging Ash's mom, but about Ammonite and Amistar. And this is a little lengthy one. But he says, Ash used his Pokedex on Ammonite and Amistar, and Oak acted like this was the first time him or anyone had seen them in thousands of years. But Ash used his Pokedex in Attack of the Prehistoric Pokemon on all of those fossils. He says, since Ash's dex is tied to Professor Oak, and we saw him scan Ash's dex before he set up to Johto, wouldn't Oak already be aware of their existence? How else would he think that Ash was able to use his Pokedex on the prehistoric Pokemon? And then he went back. He says he went to the Kabuto episode in the Orange Islands. Ash used his dex on a fossil of Kabuto. And he says, I would think dex would be able to distinguish the difference between a fossil and a living creature. Even if it can't, wouldn't have Oak questioned how Ash used his dex 2 different times on Kabuto.
What I am wondering is, I don't quite remember, Kellan, what was the memory wiping mechanic from that original episode?
I think it was just gaslighting.
Oh. I was hoping it'd be something that would also flash the dex.
I think it was just, like, Officer Jenny was like, these Pokemon don't exist, you didn't see anything, it was all a dream, idiots.
And you can't really gaslight a Pokedex, can you?
No, but I think the Pokedex in show is more of like a Wikipedia. It's not about like putting in the information, it's just bringing it up. Like, because we saw in the last episode, Ash brings up Sudowoodo in the dex without scanning it. So but I think the scanning feature is for like, I don't know what the hell this thing is, scan it, and then it brings up the information. But you can also search for the Pokemon in the dex. I don't think that it's really tracking scanning versus bringing up information that you want to see. In terms of him dexing it twice, I mean, Ash just does that. He's dumb.
Oh, yeah, he does that all the time. This one's a little bit tricky. I mean, I think that's an interesting point Tristan brings up, because although you're right, Kellan, in the sense that, like, when they talked about updating the dex and stuff, that was more like, you'll need new information. And it was almost like an excuse for, like, if things sound different next time we dex it, it's because you got an update.
Yeah.
So from that perspective, I think the show does push that angle more. But it's not like the element of scanning is completely gone. There is still this idea of like Oak sending these kids out there because they'll gather data. There is kind of that undertone, even though the show kind of forgets about it. And this is an example where it majorly forgot about it. Like majorly. I don't know. Maybe Jenny and her gaslighting also rubbed a magnet all over that Pokedex.
Yeah, when Aerodactyl grabbed Ash and Ash was asleep, Aerodactyl actually had like a magnet embedded in his foot, and it wiped the dex. That's
a magnetic foot is actually a property of most Aerodactyl.
Yeah, didn't you know?
True story.
It up. Yep. All right. Well, I don't know if we answered any questions, but
or if we ever do.
Nah. But Foster talks about how these things just kind of showed up one day. I didn't bring them here. They were just here when I got here one morning. That maybe their habitat was disrupted, and that's why he called Oak for advice about what to do about this, because they need to be protected. But this research park is an important place to educate people with. But they can't let people in because then they'll just all want to catch the Ammonite because they're all rare and stuff.
Yeah, it's a bit of a moral conundrum here.
It's like the Dratini in the Banned Safari Zone episode. Everyone wanted to catch it, and the warden started protecting it and shooting people.
Yeah, he took a bit of a different angle,
Yeah,
whereas
a little bit.
Foster went for advice, diplomacy, and advocacy. That old man started guns a-blazing.
So back to Team Rocket, James is trying to fix the pump, but something's jammed in the line. And Jesse's like, "What, your brain?"
Wah, wah.
"What is it, Jimmy?" says Meowth, and then he pulls out an Ammonite. It's just lodged in there.
It's extinct.
With a face like that, no wonder.
Oh.
From Jesse again. Jeez. But James gets it. This thing is rare and valuable.
Yeah.
And if we pump out all the water, there's bound to be a bunch more down there.
Yeah, so they're going to keep pumping. They're going to get all of these Pokemon out of their pump, and that'll transform their lives.
Give a few to the boss and then sell all the rest.
Hell
They'll
yeah.
be rich. So in the surveillance room of the lab, back to the gang, they can observe the Ammonite and Amistar without affecting them. Misty is just so happy. She doesn't even want to catch them. She's like, "It wouldn't seem right." Nash is like, "Yeah, some things deserve to be left the way they've always been." Very profound from the 10-year-old.
It's a good sentence, yeah.
Yeah.
Especially a 10-year-old who just wants to fuck shit up constantly.
Yeah. But what's this? Hold up a second. There's another Ammonite and another Amistar. What's going on? What's happening? Another scientist comes running in. He's like, "There's no water! Ah! You gotta get to the reference reservoir, blah, blah, blah. Get in the Jeep."
Get in the Jeep, and we've got our new favorite reconnaissance device, the Noctowl, flying ahead. I think this is going to be the Zubat stand-in from now on.
Noctowl goes ahead. It's no real reason for him to do this, because they're all going to the same place, but whatever.
It doesn't really change anything.
No.
But yeah.
Team Rocket are sucking up the Ammonite and Amistar by the boatload. James will be respected as the premier purveyor of prehistoric Pokemon.
Yeah, I got
Good
that as a
alliteration.
sweet sentence. Yeah. Nice alliteration. Good word choice.
But there's too many. It's overflowing. So they're like, "Okay, well, let's come back tomorrow with an even bigger tank." Oh.
And they're laughing with their parents' success. And Noctowl's spotting that now, so.
So back to the gang on their bumpy Jeep ride. Oak's Lumbago is killing him, as usual.
Name a more iconic back injury than Oak's.
Oak and his Lumbago.
Maybe Bruce Wayne in the 90s when Bane broke his back. Boy, Oak's Lumbago's up there, right?
Pat Cusack from Survivor 37, who tweaked his back on a boat ride back to camp and got medevaced from the game on day 3. Ooh. It was really sad.
Ooh. F's in the chat for Jack Cusack.
Pat
that was his
Cusack.
name? Oh, Pat Cusack. Are these all brothers of John Cusack?
I think so, yeah. No,
okay. The Cusacks on their backs.
The
Cusack back attack.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. Keep going.
Noctowl tells him something's wrong. They're like, "Oh, we gotta hurry." And they pump on the brakes, or on the gas, not the brakes. Team Rocket are loading them into the balloon when they pull up in the Jeep. Motto, "We've caught Pokemon and it wasn't much trouble. With a bigger tank car, we would have caught double." Which was fun. Team Rocket has finally done something right. "We've got plenty of Amistar and loads of Ammonite." Whop! And then Meowth kicks him. "Pipe down!" Yo, that's right. Good motto.
Ash screams, "Let them loose!" And James goes, "The victory belongs to the spoiled," which is a good line.
That one took me a second to be like, I thought at first James like mixed it up because he's dumb, and then it's like, oh no, he's
it's a play on it. Yeah.
They just like exchange information and catch the viewers up to speed. We were doing water. We were bottling water here. But we had Amistar at the thing, and we came up here, and it was like, "Oh, this is their habitat, and now you're trying to steal them." Okay, and everyone knows what's going on now.
It was kind of classic over-explaining.
Yeah.
Because, like, all the pieces are already laid out, but they're like, here's how they connect.
So Arbok and Weezing come out. Poison Sting, Pikachu dodges. Weezing goes for a Sludge, dodge, Thunderbolt, and a Tackle knocks him right into the tank car, which blows it up, but doesn't blow them up. Releases the water. They still have the pokemonjohto, and I don't remember who it is. I think Brock just goes, "This stinks."
I think that was Brock. Yeah. Team Rocket wants to have a getaway, so Jesse's sweet sentence, "Let's fly with our marvelous little mollusks."
Yeah, and Pikachu goes for the Thunderbolt, and he's like, no, that'll shock all the Pokemon. We can't do that. And so everything looks bad. They're just going to let Team Rocket get away. and they take off, and they can't get much altitude. They just stop in the air.
They've got too many
too
Omasters
heavy.
and Omanites for their hot air balloon. They were too greedy. They gobbled up these gargantuanly delicious little Pokemon, and now they cannot move at all.
And so, the other things we gotta unload some of these. Jesse's like, no, we're not throwing any away. We need them all. Maybe we should throw a Meowth away instead. And then Jesse just like calls him a fart ball, which was really funny and unexpected.
That was a pretty out of pocket line, and the other
fart ball.
This other line I thought was kind of out of pocket too, but maybe I'm missing it. So I think it's James who yells they'll give them a shell of a fight. Now, why I thought that was an out of pocket line?
Oh, interesting.
That's a pun on hell of a fight, right?
Yeah. I didn't catch that
in
one.
a kid's show.
How dare they?
How dare they?
We'll be up in arms.
Well, how will I explain this to my children? How will I explain what hell is?
Because I gotta explain to them the concept of death first. Like, it's a whole thing. Like, you've just created an inconvenience on my part.
On my part?
When's Pokemon's death episode coming?
Yeah, has anyone died in Pokemon other than Team Rocket should have a billion times? But
not yet, at least, I don't think. Which is weird, because, like, death is a big theme in Gen 1 with Lavender Town. And, like, these Pokemon are straight up dead. Like, this Marowak died that you're fighting.
Yeah, it's definitely a big background thing. Yeah,
Cubone's design influence is it wears the skull of its dead mother, which is
just so sick.
Insane.
It is insane. Every single Cubone has a dead mom.
Like, who in the boardroom came up with that concept? Like, guys, what about this? It's like a rat, and they're like, we got a lot of rats Pokemon already. It's fine. He's like, but no, hold on. It has a hat on. And like, that's stupid. Why would it be wearing a hat? And he's like, no, this hat though. The hat is its mom's skull. And they're like, Jenkins, do you need help? Like, are you okay? Are things okay at home, Jenkins?
Well, I think what makes Gen 1 so deliciously creative, too, is, Kellan, I don't think that game was made in a boardroom.
You're right. Still, my point stands.
I think that game was fueled by fried chicken and long nights.
And a little bit of the good kush, you know?
The good kush. You think those Japanese developers were smoking weed? They were probably doing amphetamines or something.
Well, they were pretty young. They were like in their 20s, I think.
Pot's not as popular in Japan.
Good for it then.
Good for Japan. I feel like they must abuse something. Alcohol. They abuse a lot of alcohol.
Speaking of weed, I worked a wedding last weekend. It was a very interesting wedding. I could go on about it for a while. But later in the night, around like midnight or something, me and the DJ got offered pot.
Yeah.
It was fun. First time that's happened.
That's the first time that's happened to you?
Yeah. At least at a wedding.
You can just buy it down the street, though. It's not like weird anymore.
They were passing a joint around the dance floor because there was only a few people left. And then one of the guests just like enthusiastically runs over with this lit joint. He's like, "You want it? You guys want to take it? You want it?" And we're like, "No, it's okay."
That is kind of funny.
Anyway, fart balls. Yes, Meowth's a fart ball.
Fart balls and shell of a fight.
And so the balloon's just like standing there in the air, and Noctowl just casually just like flies up to it and pop,
poke. Yeah, and
they fall to the ground. And so they fall out of the balloon. All of the fossil guys fall out too. So now Pikachu is free to thunderbolt them. And he does that, and then all of the Star and Ammonite team up and water gun them with their piddly little water guns. No Poliwhirl water gun here. And they go blasting off again. And the Ammonite and Amistar return to the reservoir.
Can go back to the water. Peace has been restored. They don't need Foster's Park anymore because they can live where they want to.
Yep. And Oak would love to stay and research them, but says these guys have had enough trouble. No one deserves to live life as a specimen. So many lessons in this episode. My goodness.
There's some good lines in this one. Simple lines, but they're nice.
Yeah. And so we go down, we look underneath the reservoir, and we see this large underwater cave where these guys are residing. Very nice.
Yeah, so it does seem consistent that the commonly thought of as extinct Pokemon have just been living in some caves.
But that gives me the idea that, like, commonly thought of as extinct means that these Pokemon scientists aren't really great if they think that all these Pokemon are extinct when they're clearly not.
Yeah, I mean, the Pokemon universe, there's those like extremely common theories about it being post-war and stuff
Yeah.
like that, there do seem to be pretty big gaps sometimes, right? It's like,
Hmm.
and I think that's part of the appeal of Pokemon is it does feel like they're still very much in an era of discovery,
Yeah.
that things aren't really complete or well known, that even communication around scientists is kind of scattered, the communities are small. And I think things like this, like, yeah, even reinforce those feelings. You're totally right. It's like, it feels like it's fairly young science still.
Yeah. But it also makes me think, like, is there anything like that in our world? Are there any extinct species that are actually got like a few kicking around just in like really remote locations that no one's found? Makes you
Probably.
think.
Wouldn't that be mind blowing?
It's super cool.
The dodo is just alive underground.
Wouldn't that be sick?
Yeah,
If
that would
one
be
day you
sick.
wake up and they're like, guys, the dodo's back. And we're like, what the fuck?
You know those giant turtles that never survived the trips back to England because they were so delicious that everyone ate them? They're real. And you can eat them too. Coming to Tim Hortons, the giant turtle sandwich.
No. But then
That's not where you were going with that, I know. So
No.
sorry.
But then you wake up one day and they're like, guys, this is bad. The Megalodon's back. And we're like, oh shit. Stay out of the ocean, everybody.
And
This is bad.
it ate a cruise ship yesterday.
Anyway, so it's sunset. Incredible. They're saying their goodbyes. They're heading back on the road. And as they say their goodbyes, Ash, Misty, and Brock, from the narrator, I like this from the narrator. As they say their goodbyes, Ash, Misty, and Brock know they're lucky to have seen the Pokemon of prehistory. They're looking forward to an exciting future because they've already seen an exciting past. And that's the episode.
At Johto.
Ah, shut up. It's to Johto. If you're gonna mock me, get it right.
Yeah, I can't even follow it. I can't even follow it sometimes.
But it's 2 episodes he didn't say it, so
That's nice.
I'm happy. I'm happy this week.
Well, Kellan, you kind of already set up my literary hour, so I'm pleased at that. But it is the trope of not so. Oh no, I wasn't gonna say Jurassic Park actually. Although Jurassic Park sort of applies, but no, it was that idea you were just talking about, that not so extinct trope. So commonly thought of as extinct species, both real and fictional. What if they're not actually extinct? And it's funny that we talked about the dodos because in the Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them world, apparently dodos are listed as magical creatures who aren't extinct. They just used magical powers to hide from muggles when they were getting hunted, which is like pretty fun concept. There's also Journey to the Center of the Earth. I believe that's Jules Verne. I remember watching this movie as a kid. It's like a movie from the 50s. Really cheesy. I remember thinking it was fun. But like as they're journeying down to the center of the world, underneath, like inside of the caverns under the world, there's all these like ancient creatures, mastodons, dinosaurs, etc., that like live down there. In the movie, they just look like Komodo dragons. Maybe they are, but like filmed from a distance to make them look really big. Yeah. It's fun. It's fun.
Yeah.
And so that definitely gives a lot of these vibes.
Yeah. And actually, a real world example I forgot about. The coelacanth was thought to be extinct.
Wait,
at
what
one
is
point.
that again? I'm not
It's
remembering this.
a
How do I
really
spell that?
Coelacanth. It doesn't.
Oh.
It does not look like it's spelled, or does not sound like it's spelled. But yeah, it's like it's known as like a living fossil.
An ancient fish, right?
It's this really old fish they thought was extinct, and then they realized, oh wait, hold up, they're over there.
I mean, that's incredible, and you know that's probably the most obvious place where stuff like that would happen is the ocean, because our just grasp and monitoring the ocean is so difficult, right?
Yeah, and also like I know that from Animal Crossing.
Oh, okay.
Because you can catch one in Animal Crossing, and I was like, what the fuck is that thing? I did a little research.
Long extinct, scientists discovered these living fossils in 1938. Very interesting.
Yeah. There's the Pokemon, Gen 3 Pokemon, based on it. We'll get there eventually.
We'll get there eventually.
All right. Let's rate.
Yeah, we better rate this, baby. What do we got for our first category for that delicious 4.5?
It's the Exasperation Station.
Ooh, so these are any sort of exasperation moments. Okay, so when I'm kind of going backwards in the episode, but when the balloon stops rising because they're too heavy, we get some good exasperation. So, you know, James and Meowth have the sweat drops, but Jessie has like kind of she's freaking out, right? She's got that. So I did like that moment of exasperation for Team Rocket. Very expressive.
Yeah, there was the moment when Foster's like, let's finish this and then we'll see, Noak's like, that's what I used to say to you to get you off my back. And he does that little, like, not quite a fall, but
Like a quarter fall.
yeah, like he
like a
just like
twist.
tweaks his body. Yeah, there's that.
I do love those animations.
Yeah,
Right?
it's quite fun.
Because it's so visceral, right? It's like,
Yeah.
that's how I feel when I'm
Yeah.
surprised, but not how anybody looks.
It's the physical manifestation of severe cringe.
Yeah, it is.
So there's that. There really nothing else that I noted or can remember.
No, I was going back
This
to
is
the
just kind of,
Sudowoodo episode.
in a way, like a wholesome episode of Oak being like, man, I dreamed of this
It's
from
a little
kid,
more wholesome because there's no
and teaching us lessons, you know.
Oh, you know which one we could probably count is this whole Misty getting excited about the water Pokemon and Brock having to pull her away?
I don't know, because that's like, when it comes to Brock doing that, that's a horny Brock moment.
No, but the Brock is exasperated with her.
Yeah, I guess. I'll give it like half a point
Okay.
for that. But like, there's a couple good ones, but it's nothing special. This is like 4.8.
Yeah, I'm going low. I think you're right. This isn't super solid in that. A couple nice ones, but it's kind of typical. So yeah, but is it worse than typical? Maybe. Not a lot of Pikachu action here either.
No.
Yeah, Misty's not fuming. 3.5.
That's 4.15 for that. Final category of the day is the plot. Simple category.
Okay. Simple plot, effective plot.
Yeah, not a bad plot. Simple can be good.
I do like it, actually. I like how it's just like a story of displacement and trying to figure out sort of the natural order of things, trying to figure out how to respect nature and admire it at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
And mechanically, the plot is simple in a nice way, too, where it's just like Team Rocket does thing,
Yeah.
causes thing bad, Team Rocket bad.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, maybe it's too basic even, but nah, it fits. So you just want that throughput for some nice discussion.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's a simple plot, but I really like the Oak bits of his career kind of coming full circle.
It's true. Good world building, good character building.
Yeah, and him being very like excited but amazed. Like he's not physically excited. He's just like, I don't know what the word is I'm looking for.
Yeah, it's got this like calm admiration and
This
a
awe,
reflection, sort
yeah.
of. Yeah, an awe.
But yeah, it's a simple plot, nothing incredible, but I do like it. I'm gonna go 7, flat 7.
Okay, I'm still in line with you, but a little bit lower. I'll go 6, flat 6.
So 6.5 for that. Overall for Fossil Fools, 5.325.
Yeah, that's about
Slightly
right.
above average.
Yeah.
And that's it for this week, baby.
All right, so it's the Sudowoodo and Ammonite episode of TCAD. Kellan, what are we going to do next week?
Next week, it's 2 more episodes. We're going to kick it off with episode 166, Carrying On, or in Japanese, The Curio Papo of the Papo Store! Exclamation mark.
Oh, Papo me Papo.
And episode 167, Hassle in the Castle, or in Japanese, Zubat's Mansion! Exclamation mark. A Dangerous Labyrinth! Double exclamation mark.
Oh, beautiful. These are good names.
Yeah. I like the Curio Papo of the Papo Store.
Yeah, I got to find out what Papo is. I'm dying to find out.
It's just Pidgey.
That's just Pidgey? Carrier
Yeah.
Papo is Carrier Pidgey?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, very exciting. I am looking forward to diving into those. Some old standard Pokemon coming back that we can talk about. So that's going to be fun.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Thanks everyone for listening. Please put comments in the YouTube episode. If you're not watching on YouTube, you can find us youtube.com/HydraLeech. That's where the video versions are. And then other places anywhere you find podcasts. Some of those will have video versions on them as well. I think Spotify supports that.
Mm-hmm.
Please engage with the episodes there. You can reach us if you want to ask questions, engage with us, that sort of thing, either on those comments through Gmail, tokilladellybird@gmail.com, or on Twitter, handle is tokilladellybird. Intro and outro music is 80 Synthwave by Alexia Action. You can find Kellan on TikTok. HydraLeeches is the TikTok, and then also Twitch is at twitch.tv/HydraLeech.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is that
And
about
again,
it?
if I ever see anybody calling Sudowoodo a grass type or saying it should be a grass type, I'll knock your fucking teeth out.
Or trying to lick him on the street.
That too, that's also very weird.